Hello, and thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about our Allett Kensington range. My name's Austin Jarrett. The Kensington range is really an expert product for people that are very keen on their lawns and really want great results, and where the accuracy of the product is that much more critical because of the results they want to create. So we've got accuracy and we've got more comfort based around these machines as well. But don't forget, if you're here looking at these products now, you probably already understand that it's about the scissor cut that we're getting from our cylinder mower, which just gives us those better results, the perfect cut, the perfect finish, better health for the plant, and overall this machine just creates the best stripes. This machine also has the ability to be able to fit interchangeable cartridges, and we have a series of 6 other cartridges apart from the 6-bladed reel that this machine comes as standard. The range comes in 14, 17 and 20 inches wide, and we're recommending as a guide that you would use these machines on a lawn of around 150 square meters, 280 square meters and 350 square meters. You don't have to stick exactly to those rules. You might have a small lawn but like to have a really broad stripe. You might like to buy the lower cost machine or the machine that will fit in through a doorway and mow for an hour and mow a much larger area. The choice is yours, but we just give you that as a guide. The machines are self-propelled, they will climb slopes as well, and the weights of these products really assist us in creating the great stripes as well. And the weights of these products are 47.5 kilos, 53.5 kilos and 56 kilos. So these are starting to become quite weighty machines. Certainly the 20-inch machine is not something you're going to pick up easily and carry up steps, and you need to bear that in mind too. But for a 20-inch machine to create stripes, we believe that 56 kilos is where you need to be minimum. If we start at the front of these machines, we have the grass boxes. The grass boxes are really sturdy, impact resistant. They're moulded out of polypropylene, which means that there's no steel and there's no paint, so there's going to be no rusting, and it keeps them nice and quiet. They are obviously and clearly here 3 different sizes, and we've got 52 litres, 62 litres and 70 litres. So ample capacity here. Of course, you don't want to fill these grass boxes absolutely full to the top, because the weight on the front roller will make the front roller sink in deeper in the soil, and it will actually change the height of cut. So be sensible about how full you fill these larger grass boxes. So nice and sturdy. The grass box itself fits on this folding hoop, which is removable too, and that just very simply sits on there so it doesn't bounce off. Looking behind the grass box, we have the front roller. The front roller on this machine is steel, it's galvanized, and it sits in bearings to make sure that this is accurate and lasts a long time. One of the features on the Kensington product that I really like is the rake. This rake sits just behind the front roller, and I can adjust that rake to be really aggressive, or I can lift it up out of work. But if you can imagine, what's happening is as that goes forward, it's lining the grass plants up, and that really assists in giving a cleaner cut by presenting the blade of the grass to the bottom blade and the cylinder in an upright way. But the other thing is it's starting to train the grass as well, which will give me a stronger stripe. what I'm able to do is I have wheel kit as well that comes as standard with this machine, and this wheel kit fits in place of the front roller. Now, particularly when I first start using a cylinder mower for the first time, you have to get used to the fact that a cylinder mower cuts short grass shorter. That's what cylinder mowers are about. And if you're training yourself to mow the grass more regularly, you might get caught out a few times. And the front roller can lay the long grass down before the cylinder gets a chance to mow it. So by actually removing the roller, and this just takes a few minutes, and mounting the wheel kit, it leaves the front of the machine open to allow long grass to go straight into the cylinder for cutting. And that will improve the appearance. But ultimately, for the best stripes, we need to fit this roller, which is why it comes fitted out of the box. The cylinder as standard on these machines is a 6-bladed cylinder. So this is giving us a finer cut. It's giving us 79 clips per metre, and that's fine enough certainly for everything down to as low as 20 millimetres. 20 millimetres gives a really nice stripe. As this rotates very close to the bottom blade, of course, it's cleanly cutting the grass, and that's always so well illustrated with the paper test, so that by taking this paper I can put it into the cylinder, and then that is cleanly cut as I rotate this cylinder. The paper test is always good to illustrate that clean cut, as opposed to the machete cut that you expect from a normal rotary mower, which isn't good for the plant's health at all. The really big feature about the Kensington product is this interchangeable cartridge system. To mow with a cylinder mower to give you really healthy grass and a lovely cut is so important. But you also need to do other cultivations to your grass to take it to the next level. And by undoing 2 screws here and 4 screws out of the side of the grass box, I can pull this cartridge out. And this cartridge can then be serviced, for example, without having to take the whole lawnmower to the service area. But the other thing is, I have this whole range of cartridges, which you can see here, 6 additional cartridges which can be inserted in, so that what I'm able to do is to carry out these cultivations to really lift the level of the lawn that I'm able to produce. So we'll talk about those individual cartridges in a minute. But this QC cartridge range thing is what this Kensington product's so well known for, and with these mounted in your garage on the stand that we have, it's a really neat system. I can change this cartridge over in 2 minutes, 3 minutes with the Allen key that's provided when you buy this machine from new, and it makes this product so versatile, and that you've got a whole lawn maintenance system within this one machine. The height of cut on this machine is adjusted at the side. So I have a knob here which I can turn clockwise or anti-clockwise. I have a window at the side which gives me some numbers. And what I'm able to do is, with the cutting cylinder in, I can adjust the height of cut from as low as 6 millimeters high, that's 1/4 of an inch, up to 32 millimeters high, 1.25 inches. So that gives me a really good range of cut, and generally people are working in the 19 mil to the 25 millimeter is absolutely the sweet spot. If you want to be mowing a much lower lawn, you want to be going towards a bowling green or a croquet lawn, again, you have to use a cylinder mower to get those types of results down really low. You are able to take that height of cut down even lower if you want to. When you're using the interchangeable cartridges in the cultivation, it becomes particularly important when I'm putting a steel blade into the turf surface. I need to be able to have millimeter adjustment on that. And this whole stepless adjustment of the Kensington system is what makes it just that little bit more of an expert product. The power for the machine is provided by this new Briggs & Stratton XR 550 engine that we're using. It's 127 cc's and the fuel tank gives us an ample 2 litres. You're generally not going to use that amount of fuel in one sitting. The rear rollers are a really critical part of the effect that these cylinder mowers create. It's about the stripes. The roller lays down the grass, and as you can see on a dark green stripe like this one, this is where the grass is laying towards the camera, and on a light green stripe, that's when the grass is laying towards me. It's all about the reflection of light and the shadows on the grass, but this is what we're trying to achieve, this really high level of striping and the contrast of the stripes. And that's about the rear rollers. So this is the 14 inch, 17 inch and 20 inch. The 14 inch is quite a narrow roller, as you can see, it's 14 inches. And when I turn, that really doesn't create any scuffing. But we've found that as we start to go to 17 inches wide, and then on to 20 inches wide, that roller is just too wide. And when we turn, the outside of the roller wants to be going faster than the inside radius of the roller. So by splitting the rear roller like that and allowing the rollers to go at 2 different speeds, at the left hand and the right hand side, with a full differential system in there so that the engine is still driving both halves of the roller, it's just allowing one to go faster than the other. That gives us really great straight lining and the ability to be able to control the mower well, but also when we're turning at the end, we don't get a high level of scuffing. We really reduce that scuffing of the turf so we don't get wear when we turn at the ends. The handlebars, where we stand while we're using the mower, really important part. We've got comfort grips, just to make that a little bit more comfortable, especially first thing in the morning when the handlebars are cold. We have the throttle control here. The starter lever, the starter cord, is actually pulled from a standing position on this product too. The bail bars at the reel allow us control of both the cylinder and also the rear roller. I can control the cylinder drive by this half of the bail bar. By lifting that up, the reel will engage, and by lifting the second bail bar, that will engage the drive to the rear roller. I can actually hold this with one hand and everything will remain engaged. If I let this go and don't engage the red lever and just pull it up, it will just engage the rear roller. So that gives me all the combinations I need. Rear roller only for transport, cylinder only, and I can push that into areas that are fairly confined, or cylinder drive and roller drive for my normal mowing condition. The handlebars also fold. So by moving this lever here, like so, it creates me slack so that what I can do is fold the handlebars, and that makes it much more compact for storage. And I also have 3 holes set in the sides of the handlebars so that I've got some adjustment in the height depending on how high you are or the user of the mower. We've talked about having a beautiful lawn, and it's not just about cylinder mowing the lawn, it's about the other things that we do. So let me just quickly talk through the 6 additional cartridges that are available to go into your Kensington mower. They're available in 14, 17 and 20 inch widths. And let me start with this one. This is the 10-bladed cartridge. The cartridge here spins, the blade spins at exactly the same speed as a 6-blade one does, but what that means is it gives me more clips. We've produced another video on the difference between clip rates, and please look that up. But the thing we're going to get with a 10-bladed cylinder over a 6-bladed cylinder is just a finer cut, and you will see that the finer cut that this produces is absolutely amazing, especially when you go down to 15 millimeters height of cut and lower. You must then use the 10-bladed cylinder. If your intention is to stay at 20 millimeters and above, then really you'll get no advantage from using this 10-bladed cylinder. Next is the most versatile cartridge that we have in the range, and this is the scarifier. The scarifier is made up of a lot of spring tines. These spring tines gently rake into the surface and remove primarily loose material. It's fantastic for picking up leaves and acorns and pine needles, but really what it's designed for is the cultivation of the lawn, and it really will stand lateral growth up and any long strands of grass that laying down, weed leaves that lay down, it can bring back up ready for mowing as well. And after you've applied iron to your moss and it's all dyed, then again this will rake it out. The beauty is with this system is that this cartridge puts all the debris you pick up into the grass box. So job done. Verticut. If you've bought the Scarifier cartridge, this has to be next on your list. It does remove organic material from the depth of the sward, but the thing I particularly like about this is the cuts that it makes. You get new growth coming out of those cuts, and that really helps with increasing the density of the sward. Next is a slightly more aggressive cartridge, and you can see these hook-shaped blades are spaced further apart. If they were any closer than this, you'd be pulling out of whole chunks of your lawn. But this is just for that little bit more aggression, and especially for autumn time cultivations. Use it in a couple of different directions, probably in a diamond pattern is best, and this will really help to alleviate compaction and be more aggressive in the way that you remove the material. The combination of these three cartridges really does give you a great treatment plan for your lawn. The brush cartridge, again, this can be used for a gentle removal of thatch or moss, but I like to use this if I've got a high number of worm casts in springtime and autumn and I need to just agitate those and spread them around. If I'm top dressing and I want to level out the top dressing, I can actively do this with the brush. And finally, this is the aerator cartridge. This cartridge doesn't have any drive on the side, and as this goes forward, these little spikes just go into the ground. It's not an amazing amount of depth, and it's particularly useful if you've got a very delicate sward sitting on a coconut thatch layer, coconut husk thatch layer, and what this will do is just start to poke holes in that to allow the water to get down into the sward. It's not a highly aggressive aeration tool, and you need to be aware of that. So with the combination of all of these cartridges, you can see how you've got a complete greenkeeper's toolkit all in this one mower, the Allett Kensington. So in conclusion, remember the Kensington range is for the people who have got aspirations of being an expert on the lawn, and they're going to pay a little bit extra for the features that are in these machines. 3 different sizes, 14, 17 and 20 inches wide. The machines are just that little bit more accurate with the front rake, the accuracy of cutting because of that and the adjustability of that. The accuracy of the height of cut, it gives me so much more flexibility to have that screw thread adjustment between a minimum height of cut of 6 millimeters, 1/4 of an inch, up to 32 millimeters, which is 1.25 inches. With the use of the 6 additional cartridges as well, it gives me so much flexibility, and with these cartridges on the wall in my garden shed, I have a complete armoury to be able to tackle anything the weather throws at me or that my grass decides to do that I don't want it to do. With the split roller detail as well, it allows me to go up to 20 inches wide in this machine without having to worry about when I turn. The differential drive allows me to turn at the end even in wet conditions without causing any scuffing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a really brief overview. Make sure that you look at the other videos on our channels to find out greater details of the cartridges working. Thanks ever so much for watching. Visit our website at www.allett.co.uk.